Welcome. You're just seconds away from the Brian Brawdy Show, where listener participation is strongly encouraged. Well, unless, of course, you're easily triggered, then listener discretion is strongly advised. And if you fall into the latter camp, why don't you just mortal up already?
You're listening to the Brian Brawdy Show here on RadioBri.com. Unfettered, unfiltered, unafraid.
Welcome to episode 544. Wow, 544 of the Brian Brawdy Show here on RadioBri.com, or as we're calling it today, Progressive Adaptation, right? Which is odd, because when I sent you this picture, Wayne, there was a big story done up yesterday over on LinkedIn talking about how scientists now say that progressive adaptation works in every aspect of nature, right? Little micro successes yield to the big success. So I thought that was very interesting, and we're going to be talking about that today. Let me say hello to everyone here on Mug Pamphlet, everyone over on our YouTube channel. Thank you so very much for watching. And, of course, our numbers continue to grow at RadioBri.com. Thank you so very much for joining us. We love being the virtual hitchhiker. Virtual. Easy for me to say. Virtual hitchhiker. We love riding shotgun with you. So if you're out and about running around, we are darn glad to be with you. All right, so this afternoon we have a lot going on, and I think what I'll do is, because Wayne's always busy getting everything in and that, so let me just tell you a couple of things that have happened since we just got off the air yesterday. One is, our parent company, Counterpunch Media. Well, it's kind of like a parent. It'd be like if the great-grandparent or the grandparent were Brian Brawdy Associates, the great-grandparent, right? Then the grandparent would be Counterpunch Media, and then I don't know what we'd be. Probably like the ugly stepchild. You get where I'm going with this. But in any event, somewhere up the chain of command, the people at Mug Pamphlet decided to pull down Counterpunch Media. No explanation, no nothing. Just deleted the page. Just flat out. That's it. Goodbye. Nothing to see here. We couldn't even. It was like, I was like, hey, am I having another bout of amnesia? Does Counterpunch Media really exist, or is this in my make-believe mind? Is this the part of me that doesn't really know what's going on from time to time? I thought we had a Facebook page. No, Mug Pamphlet came in, shut it right down. Now, thankfully, Wayne, but you just don't want to pick a fight with, right? Because he's always going to win. Wayne challenges it, and miraculously, they put it right back up. As David says, red-headed stepchild. Yes, sir. Although I don't have very much hair anymore, if I had hair, I would be able to say that I'm the red-headed stepchild, right? I absolutely am. David, nice to see you, brother. Hope all's well. Hope your training for the mountain climbing is going well as well. So here's the deal. Jumping ahead quickly, right? Jumping ahead, Wayne worked his magic, got them to reinstate. It's like Wayne picking a fight with the people at YouTube. Oh, well, you use copyrighted content. I wrote the content. If anyone owns the copyright, I do. So Wayne challenges them, and they relent. They capitulate. They cave. They give in like the book burners that they are, and they go, oh, yeah, right. Okay, great. Cribbs, let you back on. That's the same thing that happened to Counterpunch Media yesterday. So Wayne and I are sitting around scratching our red-headed stepchild heads, right, going, what the heck happened? What did I say? What did I do? I was trying to be on my best behavior. I was sitting up straight. I don't even think I cussed that much yesterday, to be honest with you. I was on my best behavior. I don't know why. Probably slip and fell and hit my head, but I was on my best behavior. So today, right before the show gets ready to go on, you may have known, and I just have to take a second to talk about this. You may have known that we did a report yesterday, Dane 19, I think, for Denmark, COVID-19, where they said, look, they've done all these studies, and it shows that face masks don't work. So you're darn right. We had some fun with that yesterday going, wait a minute, face masks don't work. So then Wayne and I started to wonder, we got everyone together and the aftermath and the virtual boardroom, since we're not allowed to meet face-to-face, in the virtual boardroom and go, I don't know what it could be, but thanks to Wayne, he did the challenge. They put us back on. So now today, right before we get ready to air, I have, Wayne seems to think it's more the article than me, tomato, couldn't care less. One of the posts that we talked about yesterday, the landmark Danish study, shows face masks have no significant effect. The Spectator. Well, guess what? Little Marky Mark here at Mug Pamphlet decided to slap on a false information checked by independent book burners. Oh, well, geez, I'm just all at Twitter. It's a friend of mine says Twitter-pated, right? So then you click on here, you go, oh, see why. Oh, fact check from Science Feedback. Oh, Science Feedback. Danish face mask study did not show that masks were ineffective at reducing COVID-19. Yes, it did. I read the study, dingle dork. So independent fact checkers say this information has no basis in fact. Don't you find it odd that on the eve before California locks down, New York is on the verge, Pennsylvania, you can't get into Illinois, Ohio has decided, proving once again my belief that big government doesn't just live in faraway state or national capitals. Big government lives in little minds. These people were ignored as kids, and they're going to do anything now to get everyone else's attention. So they are Lex Luthor's one and all. You don't like it? Tough crap. Don't care. Lex Luthor's one and all decided now that you can't even go out here in the great state of, oh, how I'm out of here. You can't even go out to a park with woods and wind. We got a wind advisory for today. It's so windy here. So now the Wuhan Wheeze has the staying power, right? The shelf life of a Hostess Twinkie, and it can withstand 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. So if you go outside to one of the parks here in Franklin County, you have to wear a mask. When will the mashugana end? Wayne, that's my question to you. When is all this going to end? Right? You talk about false information. When is all of this going to end?
Who knows? I mean, there's an agenda out there.
Yeah, and the agenda is to put up false information where they know damn well we're right.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. No, it's false information because some book burner wannabe, some reincarnated witch hunter decided to suppress free speech, and people are going to say, oh, Brian, well, you're just ticked off today because it was you. No, look, Wayne and I arm wrestle every day about it. If it were up to me, this would be our last show on Mug Pamphlet. I would never come back here again. Never. Sooner or later, somebody's got to stand up to these brainiacs. I would never come back again. That said, let me say hello to Shane and to Dave. Shane says, you need a sunburn on your head to be a red-headed stepchild. Thank you very much. I'm working on a bald spot, cover some of my scars. Here's the only down thing. I don't know if you know this, but if you get suntan on a scar, the scar stands out. I look like Mikhail Gorbachev going down the street with my head out the window. I look like a Labrador retriever going down the street, wind blowing back through my jowls, but with a Mikhail Gorbachev head mark on me. Let me say hello to Ms. Putnam. Hello to you as well. Thank you so very much for joining us. Again, 544 Progressive Adaptation. All right, Wayne, I think I pretty much got that out of my system. What are we doing in the opening 10? I think you told me, oh, thank you. We're opening the phone line, so I'll be quiet and let's just have you do that.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
833-MORTAL-1. Don't forget it's toll-free. You can also scratch it out. You can text us, 833-667-8251. And there's a lot of people are availing themselves to now, of course, Brian at radiobry.com if you want to send us a quick email. I think that's toll-free too as well. And here's our disclaimer, Wayne, just so everyone else knows, we don't use MailChimp. So whatever email you send me, you can be pretty sure it's between you, me, Wayne, and if you want us to put it out, if you want us to mention it on air, we'll never mention your name, but you knowing that we don't use MailChimp, your email content is good. Wouldn't you say, Wayne? Yeah. Your email content is good with us. All right. So what did I run over on here, Wayne? What's the first thing we wanted to do?
Well, we're going to be running into the 10-minute break, but I'm going to go ahead and do the Mortal Up Minute.
Mortal Up Minute. Oh, great. Thank you, brother.
To Mortal Up with Brian Brawdy.
Ever hear of a false bill of goods, more commonly known as fake news, when someone attempts to sell you propaganda that empowers them, all the while disempowering you and their scheme? If they gaslight often enough and with convincing passion, you'll fall for their pitch and buy into their BS. They want to fundamentally change the ultimate reality of what you see in the mirror, to hijack your reflection. Always difference between normal and natural, between those things you've come to accept, maybe even adopt as your own, and those things that are naturally encoded in your DNA. Though commonplace, fear, surrender, and personal abdication are never natural. So why fall for their lemon law violation? Reminding you to mortal up, I'm Brian Brawdy. That's all I'm saying is don't fall for their gaslighting. Don't lead that, right? Do you ever find it odd that the same people that swear you need crutches are the ones standing alongside the road waiting to sell you a pair of crutches? I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think for the people that mortal up, they're scared to death of us. That's what I think. I think they know we don't need crutches, and we're going to highlight them as the gaslighters they are. Let me apologize for whatever that technical glitch was there a little while ago. Yeah, I know it was loud. I'm with you. I could hear it reverberating through my ear as well. So thank you very much. Wayne says we have figured it out.
You got a call.
So, I got a call. Okay, great. Give me 1 second, Wayne, and then we'll do that. So I apologize for the audio glitch, but we're now back. Wayne, let's hit it.
They're on the line.
Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Hey, Brian.
Yes. Who's this?
Hey, Brian. It's Kurt. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Kurt. I was just getting ready to say good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, I've got a couple more days left, and then I'm moving to a new host home. But other than that, it's doing great.
Oh, very nice. So for people that don't know, and Wayne and I were talking about this earlier, Kurt, host home. So that must mean you're in an RV and you're the big wig on campus at a particular RV park. Is that correct? And then you're getting ready to move on to be a big wig. Hopefully it's someplace warm, brother. You're getting ready to move on to another place to be a host at an RV park. Is that correct?
Negative. I'm actually at a location here in Colorado.
Okay.
And I'm actually moving location, but I've got my bug out bag all set and ready to go. I'm going to return the massive cat to my dad probably tomorrow, and
Very
then
cool.
probably sometime next week I'm moving over to a close location just north of here.
Very cool. Well, brother, your move disclosed location. We know what that, right? The bunker. So what's on in the world, Kurt? What do you think about all of this? Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, you're locked down, and invite family over Thanksgiving dinner. In a way, it's kind of fine with me because I don't have the stuffing. I love my stuffing. So the less people here thinking you're supposed to put two, the better off with. But what do you think, Kurt? What's this mania? Can Wayne, do you think this mania is eventually going to come to an end?
You know, I don't know, man. I don't know, Brian. It's one day at a time, you know?
Very cool. I like that. Well, that's progressive, right, Kurt? Talking about one day. That's all. Saying this is the greatest day to be alive. So, Kurt, I'm absolutely with you. We take it one day at a time. Progressive adaptation, just like building it, right? We're going to have to Mashugana one day at a time. And then I think we're all going to get through it. I think the people that mortal up are going to get through it better than don't, but that's just my personal opinion. All right, Kurt, we're going to get ready to run, but final thought before we let you go. Is there any other wisdom you want to share with our listeners before we do?
You know, Brian, it's just, I go back to what my old friend Tim used to tell me. If you're focused on your passions in life and enjoy doing, you'll get there. Trust me, I'm doing it.
Oh, very good, brother. Well, that brings a smile to my face to you. We wish you continued luck. And when you get to the undisclosed location, don't give us the address, but you'll give us a call back. Let us know that you made it there safe. Get your call. And Kurt, I will say to you, I say to people all the time, do your indigenous. If you do what your gut, right? If you're indigenous, everything else will fall into place. And as you say, brother, if you just follow your passion, do your passion, time flies when you do anyways. So all the others going on in the world just seems to fall by the wayside. Kurt, thank you so very much for calling. Good luck on you, and we'll hope to speak to you when you make it to where you're headed. Thank you so much, brother, for everything. All right, Wayne, let's move on with our next segment so I can try somewhat to get back on schedule here. What do we got? Oh, life's making, or as we like to call it around, blood. Here's your brittle spine for today. All right, the brittle brains atop balsa wood. Oh, yeah. Well, Wayne can attest to this, right? And Wayne's just a good guy because Wayne's like, oh, everyone has a bad day. You gotta, you know what I mean? Don't be too rough. But here's the thing with Tucker Carlson. And people say, oh, he's got the #1 show on cable. Couldn't care less. Oh, he's done this. He's done that. Couldn't care less. Only met the guy once. He was a bit of a putz when I met him. But, you know, what are you going to do? Here's the thing, last evening, where he goes and says, he was upset. Right after the Harper's reached out to Sidney Powell. Now, if you don't know, Sidney Powell is one of President Trump's attorneys releasing the Kraken, I think it is, isn't it? Is that what she's calling it? Releasing the Kraken.
Yes, it is.
She's doing what? She's getting ready to release one of this. So Tucker Carlson says last night on his show, well, our producers texted her right away, asking her for what proof. You're not playing show and tell, you little putz. This is poker. Did you go to a poker table in Vegas and show your cards when you're sitting across from an opponent that's trying to take that big stack of chips? Here's my theory, Wayne. You want to hear my theory?
Go for it.
The same producer that sent his top secret package. Remember when they were doing the Bider hunting, the vice president's son, and they sent a package from New York to Los Angeles, and the contents came up missing. What can Brown do for you? Well, apparently it can lose the contents of your top secret email. Here's my theory. I think the same producer that sent that package is the same one that loaded it into the teleprompter, that Tucker Carlson could show you that he's a pundit. He's not a reporter. But why he makes today's lowlifes making headlines, at least in my book, is the outrage that he had that she wouldn't show his hand to him. Who the hell are you? Who are you, Tucker Carlson, that anyone needs to tip their hand to you? Oh, well, we kept asking her. She got mad and eventually stopped returning our calls. Yeah, because it's none of your business, Needle Knits. Who are you to tell her? Who are you to demand that she puts all the cards on the table for you? And you know what, Wayne, we've talked about this before. I've about had it with Tucker Carlson anyways, right? But last night, it just showed me how smug and how pompous and how arrogant. He can try to act like he's the man of the people. He can put up doing the right thing or whatever on the little moniker. And what's interesting to me about the whole thing was that last night, Sean Hannity, right afterwards, went on and on and on, both at the open and at the end, telling you how independent he is, how no one tells him what to say or do on his radio show or in his television show. I think the bigwigs got to Tucker and said, you're going to have to start playing hardball. Or at least you're going to have to start, because shortly thereafter, and we'll do this, Wayne, let's do our 20-minute little mic surrender, and then we'll come right back to jousting with journalists, because it's all tied together over there at Faux News, right? It's all tied together. And you'll see that when you see who our Jousting with Journalist winner is for the day. All right, we'll be right back.
Portions of this broadcast have been pre-recorded.
Why? Because you can't get these people to hit a call time. They're the worst. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love our guests. Yes, we do. We love our guests. So, Wayne, let's do this. Now that I've professed my undying loyalty to our guests when they call in. Oh, and we've got a great guest coming up here in about 10 minutes, which is why I got to underlay, right? Arriva. Now, people will call and bitch that they'll go, oh, Brad, that was cultural appropriation. Tough luck. Couldn't care less. Crap, weasel. So here's the thing, Wayne. Why don't we jump right away to jousting with journalists so we can get to yet another pundit that thinks they know what's going on, and they continue to prove that they are clueless. Distorting the truth instead of reporting the facts? Why, I oughta. Instead, let me just congratulate you. You're today's contestant on Jousting with Journalists. Oh, my good Lord, that's an action-packed 20 minutes. Oh, who's our... Jousting with Journalists. The Ingram angle. Oh, Laura. Oh. So last night, Laura gets on and calls this whole thing about wholesale switching of votes in a computer thing, calls it conspiracy, calls it unfounded, calls it crazy. But she doesn't even have the backbone. She doesn't even have the courage to say, oh, we think Sydney's crazy. She didn't even mention her name. She just throws the theory under the bus so she could be just like her pal Tucker Carlson. Well, we haven't seen any evidence. I thought you were an attorney, Laura. I thought you were supposed to know the way it works. And let me just say, if you were ever a defense attorney and you tipped the evidence that I hired you, and you tipped my evidence to the other side before we were in front of a judge, I'd move to have you disbarred. I'd move to have your license in this state or any other state you practice. And for these people to get on and go, well, we need to see the facts. You don't need to see crap. You're an overpaid, pompous television reporter. Get a grip. So that's why you get our Jousting with Journalists Award, and you and Tucker. Here's what you should do. You and Tucker should learn how to play poker. This isn't show and tell, right? This isn't a hide and seek. It's called poker, and you don't tip your hand. And I got to tell you, Wayne, I don't know. Look, I have no vested interest. As you know, Wayne, isn't it true? I couldn't care less. You people pick whoever you want to be your overlord. I couldn't care less. All I want is it to be honest. I want it to be truthful. But I have to say, I don't see this Sidney Powell. I don't see her as being a blowhard. And by that I mean, I don't see her as saying something if she doesn't have the facts to back it up. You ever get that feeling, Wayne, where, you look at people and look at everyone saying, oh, Giuliani, this and that. Look, I know a little bit about Giuliani. You say what you want, but he used the RICO statute, and he brought down huge chunks of the mob. And if you don't know, the RICO statute is used to where you can try to get people to conspire to commit a crime, right? Usually used against organized crime. But let's see how this plays out. But for all these people in the media to go, well, we want to see the proof. Well, you know what? Go to hell. We don't have to show you a darn thing. I think we should do a new segment, Wayne. It should be the PC police for pompous clowns. We ought to have a police agency that just tracks out pompous clowns. And though we may not be doing it again here on Facebook ever again, over on our YouTube channel, and we're going to do the broadcast of the videos, we're going to go after pompous clowns because that's what they are. I don't know if they got the goods, but I'm willing to give them a little bit of time to see if they've got the goods. What's the rush, Wayne? What's the reason to throw him under the bus? What's the reason to call Giuliani crazy? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe Sidney Powell will have to move to, I don't know, somewhere, because she won't be able to show her face in public because the evidence didn't materialize. But does she strike you as someone that's all about the bluff, Wayne? Does she strike you as someone that would just say it?
No.
If she wasn't sure she could back it up?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, but Laura and Tucker demand, we want to see the proof. Who gives a crap what you two want? Here's the thing, and I say this all the time about QVC for conservatives, right? I say it, all these people, well, from inside of the Beltway, that you're inside of the Beltway is the reason we're in this mess in the first place. Oh, well, I've been a political reporter, Brett Hume. I've been a political reporter forever. You're part of the reason we're in this. You're part of the gaslighting I talked about in the Mortal Up Minute. You're part of the reason that we're in this mess. The certain outlets in the media running cover, doing anything they can to stonewall people from getting the truth. One big bag of Facebook fact-checking, born-again witch burners. Book burners at the very least. All right, Wayne, how are we doing? I'm a little bit back on time. I know we got to watch at the bottom of the hour. Oh, we have a great guest coming up right after the bottom of the hour break, so we're excited about that. Wayne, what did I forget? We got Lowlifes Making Headlines. We got the Mortal Up Minute. I got to throw a couple people. Oh, and the fact checkers got to throw them under the bus. Anything else I'm missing? Anything else I'm forgetting today before we get ready? Oh, return to vendor, because some DNA just needs to go back. You gotta love Wayne. He just runs with the segment, right? Doesn't matter, right? Is there something I missed? Yeah. All right, so here we are. Andre Jordan Barrows. Colorado authorities captured a convicted felon nicknamed Psycho after a 24-hour manhunt. Police arrested this fine, upstanding citizen, 26 years old, in Gallup. Apparently he wasn't able to gallop fast enough to get away. Shoot low, Sheriff. They're riding Shetland ponies. But in any event, they picked him up in Gallup, New Mexico on Thursday, just one day after launching a statewide manhunt, according to CBS in Denver. Now, Wayne, will I be fact-checked? Will we get a little thing on Facebook because they're going to go ahead and said, CBS gave you false news, so now we're going to blur out your post because it's false news, fake news, false information? Barrows faces charges of first-degree homicide, first-degree assault, and second-degree kidnapping. Skeletal remains, of 3 people. So this guy gets a hat trick of homicides, right? Skeletal remains of 3 people were discovered last week at 2 separate properties in Los Sauces. Is that how it's pronounced, Wayne? Los Sauces?
I would guess.
I would guess, too. So this brainiac, and can I say something else? As someone covered in tattoos, I have more tattoos than most people, just to everyone who wants to admit. This guy gets a return to vendor, right? This is clearly DNA that needs to go back. If he's convicted, right? He's already been arrested. If he's convicted, tried, convicted, death penalty. No questions asked. Bang the gavel. Next case. See you at the firing squad. And then we add to that because I'm sick and tired of people with tattoos giving the rest of us a bad name. Do you really think it's a good idea to tattoo tears running down your face? Do you really? I saw something, Wayne, right before we went to air. Someone else was in jail, waiting trial for killing his girlfriend. Well, they found him in the shower and beat the crap out of him. He's dead, and he had tattoos all the way up his neck. What is it? Every time they snap a picture of a felon, he or she has tattoos. But if if it's anyone else, you get pictures of them when they were in the Glee Club in high school. Sick and tired of people with tattoos giving other people a bad name. All right, so that's my theory. So in any event, return to vendor. Some DNA just needs to go back. Stop crying to me about the death penalty because, as you know, here's the disclaimer, couldn't care less. There's just some times where we go, there's no rehabilitating this multiply convicted felon. There's no rehabilitating this person. And we can't stand the chance of an innocent person being injured because we didn't have the backbone to put this person to death. Return to vendor. It's not just a great idea. It's a phenomenal idea. All right, Wayne, let's do this. In case it's 12:30 early, let's run to the bottom of the hour, and we will be right back.
You're listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Why? Because you know the truth when you hear it. He'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Brian Brawdy Show, brought to you by our good friends at Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. It's time to buckle up. And buckle up it is, Wayne. We'd have been in trouble yesterday if one of our time brought to you by Counterpunch Media and Facebook had just canceled us, outed us. It was like we were in the witness relocation program, right? They just went ahead and said, oh, no more Counterpunch Media. See ya. Thanks for playing. Thanks for all your hard work. Doesn't matter. Our fact checkers said you offended someone, so it's time to just delete your account. Not, hey, is this true? Not innocent until proven guilty. Right, Wayne?
Yeah, but
was there any chance yesterday to prove your innocence?
Counterpunch Media is more than just a Facebook page.
Agreed.
It's a YouTube channel. There's a website out there. It's more involved. So
I'm not arguing that. But did Facebook allow you to prove your innocence?
More personal than I do.
Well, too bad. It's my name all over it.
Anyway, I believe we got a caller.
All right, let me just say quickly before we take the caller, Shane, you're absolutely right. At some point, the evidence will need to be provided. It's called in front of a judge. No, the media does not have the right? You wait till the affidavit is served. Because here's the thing. Well, how do you know they have all these witnesses that can prove what they say happened? How do you know they're not going to be suicided between now and the time they get to actually talk to the judge and put in their evidence? So you're right, Shane. At some point, the evidence will have to be provided, and it's called at trial, or at least when they're going to do the investigation. They're going to petition the attorneys from both sides are going to go, show me what you got. That's when that time will be, not to the witless Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham. All right, Wayne, we have a caller. What do we got?
Say hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian. Oh, I take it you weren't wanting me to say to me. Hello, caller. Hello.
Oh, am I on?
You are on. Who's this?
This is. How you doing, Brian and Wayne?
Hey, brother. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So, Wayne, let's do a little bit of a drum roll, right? Well, let's give everyone an idea. It's Mr. Jason. Jason, it's Rigo. Am I saying it correctly?
That's correct. Yes.
It was Jason Rigo, owner of the Facebook group Red, White, and True 2020. And as best we can tell, his Facebook page hasn't been taken down yet. A deep conservative that believes in the truth, and along with millions of Americans, and there are millions of them, brother, massively appalled with what has transpired in our country, not only in the last 4 years, but over the last couple of decades, leading to what we are now fighting for. Jason, it is nice to finally hear your voice. And let me just say thank you for everything you do to try to just say, hey, let's introduce some common sense to this. right? Let's just introduce, let's see what the facts are. That's why we're, right? That's why we have trials. That's why we have judges and juries. Let's just wait and see where the evidence goes. Let's not rush to judgment. Jason, open mic, what say you, sir?
Well, I completely agree with what you're saying, Brian. I mean, the way I look at this is, and how this whole thing started with me, and why I just, there's so many people out there that are just completely pissed off. I mean, if you go back and you look at, and I'll only go back to right before pre-Trump administration.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, he wasn't even supposed to win that, and that's how I think people need to look at it. I mean, that he was not supposed to win, and he did, and he derailed everything that was supposed to happen. And if people can't see that there has been no effort on the Dem side other than focusing on everything they could between collusions and lying about, I mean, impeachment, everything they could possibly do in the last 4 years was just focusing on trying to get him out. They have done nothing else up until the point of this complete voter fraud that is so blatant. And I just can't understand why people can't put two and two together and see this. So, this group was started, pretty much as a way to gather people together into one place, congregate everyone in one place. Honestly, then to transition out of Facebook because of all the ridiculous censoring that's going on. But
and we were talking about that earlier, brother. Wayne and I were just talking about that. 2 hits in 24 hours. So we get you. And now with Mark Zuckerberg testifying under oath that they collude, right? The only collusion. I know you were ready for me to say Russia. The collusion of with Twitter and with Facebook and with, all the rest. Oh, no, we compare notes. We don't want anyone working to overthrow the government. So, we have a team that compares notes. Yeah, there's no collusion there. Nothing to see. So I'm with you. And it must be something, Jason, to sit as an admin on a group and make sure, because even though it's a private group, they can still take you down. Is that not correct? They can still block you. They can still do whatever they want to squelch your free speech.
Well, of course. And, it's work, and I told everybody, I'm allowing, posts to be put on there. I mean, that's what everyone seems to want to do. They want to vent. They want to put whatever information they happen to come across, they want to put it out there.
Sure.
But unfortunately, there's things that, to get flagged, and we had to take them down to try to maintain that group on Facebook. But again, the whole purpose of Facebook for me, you're talking 2 billion plus people, using that platform. I'm just trying to make sure that people get the word out. I want to put the word out there to get everyone on there because there's still conservative, common sense thinking people out there that understand what's going on and are mad. I know everyone's moving over to different platforms.
I'm sorry, I was just going to interrupt quickly that Wayne is saying, when it comes to Parler, when it comes to some of the other things that we do, some of the other social media things that we do, is that they're doing everything they can to squelch conservative speech. They're doing, and by conservative, Jason, I think maybe this will be helpful to folks. You're not talking Republican. Conservative has nothing to do with a Republican. So when people talk all the time and they say, oh, well, it's conservative point of view, some Republicans wholeheartedly are conservative. But there's some other Republicans that are anything but conservative. And I think that when people start to realize that, expand on that a little for me, if you would.
Well, it's not really about, again, I guess you kind of saying, you're putting it out there. It's not really about a party. It's not being a Democrat or Republican. It's about, truthfully, it's about just common sense. It's just about, this is what's in front of your eyes. This is what's happening. Do you want to be locked down? Do you want, to have this socialist type of thing coming across our nation? Do you want our rights played with? Do you want them taken away? It's being conservative has no. It's like I tell people, it's not even about Trump. Everyone's Trump this, Trump that. It's not even about them, man. I could care less if there was someone else in there that was fighting for the same purposes and the same things that Trump is fighting for.
And Jason, if I could interrupt quickly just to tell you, one of the things that impressed me about you, and I don't want to out anything personal about you, but I love the moniker on your Facebook page, your personal, of your son. And let me just say that a lot of what you're doing now, a lot of what we try to do at Counterpunch Media, and most certainly at the Brian Brawdy Show, is for future generation, right? Because you and I, brother, we are where we are, right? But what we're fighting to do is for our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids, our nieces and our nephews. What was it Ben Franklin said, responded to that one lady? Hey, she goes, hey, congrats on getting us a republic. And Ben Franklin says, yeah, you're welcome. Let's see if you can keep it. So I think the work that you do and other freedom fighters, if you will, like you're doing it not so much for us. Our days are numbered, brother, but you're doing it for our kids. As I said, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, our nieces and nephews, the kids of our friends, extended family. It's the future of what we're going to be up against, because sooner or later we have to draw that line in the sand, or it's just going to be too late. What say you?
I mean, you're right. It's what we do now is going to have repercussions down the road. I mean, that's pretty much what it's boiling down to. And I've always wanted to have, and my wife knows this 100% about me, that one of the things I always wish I could have is a massive platform to just talk. And there's a lot of people out there using, different social media to be able to do that. But, a lot of people who try, they don't get to that point. And to me, this is huge. I mean, what's happening right now in this country is massive. It's something that I don't think no one has ever seen. I mean, let me rephrase. Venezuela has seen it. Cuba has seen it. I mean, these are things that have happened there, and we can all see what happened to those countries. But
it worked well for them. We interviewed someone the other day that's coming on the show pretty soon that was that went into East Germany through Checkpoint Charlie. And he's going to come on at some point in the near future and explain to us what it was like to leave a democracy and literally step across the line into communism, and just the stark difference between the two. So you're absolutely right to mention Cuba. You're absolutely right to mention Venezuela. But I think what happens, Jason, and why I applaud you and people like you for your efforts, and I want to talk a little bit about those efforts. How can people get in touch with your group? What can you do? One of the reasons that I'm so excited about it is that I think people in this country believe it could never happen here. Lightning will never strike me. I'll never get hit by a car. What happened in Venezuela, it'll never happen here. But isn't it true that 50 to 100 years ago, people in Venezuela probably said, it's never going to happen in Venezuela with all the money we have from oil, right? Gas, all the things that we do in Venezuela. It'll never happen here. It's too good. We're too good for us to happen here. But can it happen here, Jason?
It absolutely can. And that's another thing, one of the things I kind of, whenever I talk amongst friends and whatnot, that I kind of put out there. And it's difficult because there's a lot of things that, conservatives point out there that they automatically get deemed as obviously a conspiracy theory, and it's that'll never happen. It's one of those things. That'll never happen. Come on, you're reaching now.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, just because we live in the United States does not mean that our government can't be corrupt. I think personally, we have one of the most white collar corrupt governments there are. We may not be chopping off hands or something like that, but through white corporations and money, I mean, we live in
special
a very
interests. Special interests.
Corrupt,
Yep.
It's mind-boggling that people wouldn't believe that things like that could happen. That our own government would never do anything like that.
Well, that's why I root all the time, Jason, that they'll eventually break the news about aliens, right? Because there's just so much evidence to go something else is going on. But people go, there's no such thing as aliens. That's all fake news. That couldn't be, right? That couldn't happen. Just like they thought there were, there are no other animals to be identified. There are no other creatures in the sea. Right? There's all these other things. So I think you're absolutely right. Sooner or later, people are going to have to go, there's a preponderance of evidence. You talk about tipping the scales. And maybe we got to wake up and go, you're right. There really was something to that. All right, Jason, we have a few minutes left. Go ahead and tell people, how can we get in touch with your group? How can we find out more about, what you're doing to support freedom? I call you a freedom fighter because I believe that's what you are. What can we do and how can people get involved with your cause? Right
now, like I said, we're set up in different platforms, but What we really need right now is for people to come onto Facebook. I know everyone is hating Facebook right now, and I can't say not to.
Right.
But come onto Facebook, just search for Red, White, and True 2020, and go ahead and join the group. And I'm going to urge people, if you're at all not a conservative and you're going to come in there to start trouble, you're out. It's not even going to, you won't even last.
Right.
We're monitoring that really well. But go ahead and search the group. We just want to get as many people. I mean, Stop the Steal went haywire. There were over 1 million plus. There's a couple of the groups in there, and I applaud them. They're doing the same thing I'm trying to do. Get everybody together, get in there, join the group. I'm trying to get to a certain amount of people because, again, Facebook, there's still millions of people out there that are angry on Facebook. And then we're going to go ahead and at one point I will decide what platform we'll transition to, and we'll transition to a more non-censoring type of platform where we can get things going. But right now on our group page, we have the voter fraud submission form. We have the information you need to submit or call in with anything that you might have seen, even if it comes across on the internet. There's a lot of stuff I've seen that people have caught, especially on their DVRs, filming on their phone. There's of the actual election on the TV, things that were just blatant. They were right there in front of your eyes. Just report it. You can do that through our group. We have the forum there for you. And there's a few other things down the road. Eventually, I think Trump will win, that we're going to use the group for. We'll utilize the group for a lot of good.
Great. I believe that.
For petition purposes, but for other things that'll benefit the members of the group, which will come down the road.
I think it's great. And, brother, I know I'm a member of the group. Wayne's a member of the group. We applaud everything that you do. To everyone listening, if you can't see the logo that Jason and Wayne created, the name of the group is Red, White, and True 2020. So if you go over to Facebook, I won't read you all the numbers, but the name of the group is Red, White, and True. Jason Rigo, you're going to love the good work that he's doing to try to keep it at least front and center in everyone's minds. And Jason, I'll leave you with this thought. I was having a conversation with Wayne just before we went on air. If I put up a story about NORAD tracking Santa Claus, will the Facebook fact checkers bring it down by saying there's no such thing as Santa Claus? So stay tuned. That'll be the next thing, right? If I put up a post about the Easter Bunny, oh, Brian, that's fake news. Fake news. No such thing as the Easter Bunny. We know that's not true, right? So I'm waiting to see if they'll bring that down as well.
I wouldn't doubt that they would.
Sounds good.
All
right, Jason, thank you so much for your time. If it's cool with you, we'll rebroadcast this episode, or we'll put a tape of this episode up on the Red, White, and True 2020 for the numbers. Jason, thank you so very much for your time, and again, for all the great work that you do.
And thank you for having me on, Brian, and Wayne. Thank you for the opportunity to come on and just let you guys know and talk about it.
That sounds great. Thank you, brother.
And
we super appreciate it. Wayne,
You're doing a great job with your show.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, Wayne, I know you need the mic back. It is yours. So the phone lines are tied up, are they? Well, you're welcome to leave us a message. And because your voice deserves to be heard, we just might play the recording on air. So sit up straight, take a deep breath, belt it out, and let us know what you're thinking. All right, let us know what you're thinking. We're all over that. A special thanks again to Jason so much. Jason Rigo for coming on. He is the founder of Red, White, and True 2020. And all we're saying, Wayne, is let's wait for it to play out. That's all. What's the rush? They don't even seat the jurors. They don't even seat the delegates for a while, right? Let's wait and see how it plays out. Now, I think you could cooperate to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. But I'm just thrilled with the work of the groups like Jason and others out there wanting to keep the discussion front and center in their minds. All right, Wayne, what else is going on? We haven't had much of a chance to catch up, at least on the show today. What's going on in your world? What am I missing? What's new and exciting?
Well, the only thing that's going on other than the show is I started to prep for that little series that I had told you about. I guess it was yesterday.
Oh, great. How's it coming?
It's coming, and I'm hoping I'm going in the right direction. It's going to be called Is History Repeating It?
Wow. Well, you know what? You would have to say, just in right off the bat, you'd have to say, sadly, it may very well be. Well, if you listen to what Jason just said about what happened in other countries, I think there might be something to that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so also. And like I said, I just created a quick 44-second teaser. It's not that professional, but it is a little teaser video if you want me to put it up.
Yeah, if you want to put it up or you want to wait till Monday, it's totally up to you. Whatever you think is best. Do what?
I'll have more for Monday.
Yeah, then go ahead and throw it up now so we can at least... Do we have anything else? We have the Mortal Up Minute, but we got nothing else for the closing 10, right? Let's throw it up.
While Hitler is the leader of the Nazis' political party, they also have a paramilitary wing called the Stormtroopers. These disenfranchised men are used to dish out violence on the streets to their enemies. But in a way that the Nazi Party can deny involvement in. All part of Hitler's secret agenda to wage war against the Nazis' political rival.
The Nazi with the Stormtroopers represent a fresh start.
Wow, so that's what you're working on? That's something. That's something for sure. And so we'll have more of it to look at on Monday. Is that it, Wayne?
Yeah, I'm expanding it because I want to go across the board with everything that happened back in the 40s.
Right.
It actually began before the 40s. It actually all started around World War I.
Not just there, though, Wayne, but look at everything with Mao Zedong when he went ahead and activated the students, when they had all the cleansing committees and everything else. So you're not picking on one country in one particular time in history. We're just saying when the vampire class wants complete and total control, they can rely on some pretty nefarious actions to get that control.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. That's going to be quite the thing. And I know it's something that's near and dear to your heart because you talk about it all the time, right? In conversations that we have, you talk about what it's like for history to repeat itself. Because the vampire class has always been around, Wayne.
Yes.
Right? There's always been pharaohs. There's always been kings. There's always been, right, robber barons. It's like there's a part of humanity, right, that just whether they were born as Lex Luthor or they were just ignored as little kids, they'll do everything they can to exercise control over you because they feel powerless in and of themselves.
Absolutely.
So I think you're absolutely right, brother. I think history is repeating itself, right? I think just time and time again, you see the same Lex Luthors. But then for the other percentage, very large percentage of us that choose to mortal up, we're just busy, Wayne, loving life, hanging with our families. As Kurt says here, totally tuning into that. Kurt says, Wayne, looking forward to seeing that. So there we go. Right? The rest of us, Wayne, getting back to my point, we're just busy loving life, loving our shot, trying to run the red carpet, doing everything we can in the labyrinth of life, the garden of the mortals, just to have fun, just to thrive. And then these guys working behind the scenes, guys and girls don't want to mansplain, right? These Lex Luthors and Lex Lutherinas, would that be the way I could say Lex Luthor? Because someone will say, oh, he's a misogynist, you know that, Brian. He's a sexist. So would it be Lutherinas? So thank you, Wayne. Thank you for I just got the text. Lex Luthors and Lex Lutherinas. This is why I love the term asshat or crap weasel, Wayne, right? Because it's like a generic term. No, right? Since everyone wants me to be neuter generals. No, I'm not calling for neutering generals. What's the term? Neutral. What is it, Wayne? Neuter general? What's the term where no one wants to be called a guy or a girl?
Neutral.
Thank you. There's just a gender neutral. Thank you. Gender neutral. I got to bring some more tea.
I was trying to figure out where the generals were coming in.
I know neuter generals. Now people will be saying he's against the troops. What is it? Gender neutral. I don't know why anyone listens. Gender neutral. Well, great. So crap weasel, I think is gender neutral. Lena Luthor is his sister. Thank you, Shane. See, I can always count on Shane. And you know what it is, Wayne? He's a lot like you. I can always count on you guys to be my tether. I can count on you two to be my bumper. So someone just, right? You start the show, you break the rack, right? You send the 8-ball, hopefully somewhere that you can get to it here in a minute, and then you rely on bumpers. You rely on borders. You rely on tether to keep your hot air balloon from climbing into space. You and Shane are those tethers for me. Shane says and I do like Lutherina, but I guess did you know this, Wayne? It's Lena, like Lena Dunham.
It figures.
It's Lena Luther.
I love this. I can turn around. It figures Shane would come up with this.
I know. So it's Lena. So, no, but look, Shane might know. And Shane, congratulations on your last bike ride, brother, in those mountains. God, love you. So, but Shane may know. Maybe there's a cartoon character. Maybe this isn't a new thing, Wayne. And right? Maybe this isn't a new thing. I always enjoyed ass hat, if you can say that. Well, I'd like to say it, Wayne, or Shane, but you wouldn't believe Wayne, like, rides that button, right? Because Wayne's just, he's the calming, people are going, Brian, you have a calming influence? Yeah, it's Wayne, believe it or not. If it weren't for Wayne, I didn't bring my bullhorn with me. We'd be doing this whole show with a bullhorn, and I'd be screaming ass hat at the top of my lungs. But Wayne, I didn't know that. He says, seriously, that's her name. Did you know that?
Nope.
Doesn't it just figure, Wayne, that it's Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane knows. He's my tether. Okay, so the Lex and Lena Luthers of the world. I can't think of a better segue for our closing Mortal Up Minute, right? Don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them BS you. Don't let them browbeat you. Don't let them convince you. So, Wayne, let's do that so that you and I can have a few seconds before we go. Seriously, he says that's her name. All right, let's get to the Mortal Up Minute, Wayne, if you would, and then we'll come right back.
Time to Mortal Up with Brian Brawdy.
Ever hear of a false bill of goods, more commonly known as fake news, when someone attempts to sell you propaganda that empowers them, all the while disempowering you and their scheme? If they gaslight often enough and with convincing passion, you'll fall for their pitch and buy into their BS. They want to fundamentally change the ultimate reality of what you see in the mirror, to hijack your reflection, always attempting to water down your authentic wherewithal. These charlatans move to obscure the tremendous difference between normal and natural, between those things you've come to accept, maybe even adopt as your own, and those things that are naturally encoded in your DNA. Though commonplace, fear, surrender, and personal abdication are never natural. So why fall for their lemon law violation? Reminding you to mortal up, I'm Brian Brawdy. And that's it, Wayne. As you know, when you mortal up, you don't fall for their BS. You don't fall for them trying to malign you. You don't fall for them undermining you. You don't fall for the name calling. You don't fall for the gaslighting. That's what it's all about, because the vampire class, as you say, Wayne, is history repeating itself? Absolutely. As sure as our winners today for Low Life making headlines, Tucker Carlson, let me throw that in, Jousting with Journalist, Laura from over at the Ingram Angle, and our good friend, the 3-time hat-trick homicide maniac, Psycho, with the tattoos all over his face, right? As sure as there are winners for today, you're absolutely right, Wayne. History is repeating itself because the Lex and Lena, I got to tell you, Shane, I like Lexina, but the Lex and Lena Luthers of the world are going to do what they can to gaslight us, right? These narcissistic vampires, they're going to do what they can to submarine your chances at a full run at life, because misery loves company. That's all I'm saying. Wayne, where am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. All right, great. Kurt says again, he's looking forward to it, Wayne. Just got the text. Thank you very much. And for the email, yes, I truly do enjoy the show. So thank you for sticking. Thank you for coming. We super appreciate having you. All right, Wayne, it's about time, right? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else we need to do? Anything else we need to say before I start thanking everybody?
Nah, you got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so you can keep going.
All right, so I got 120 seconds to thank our good friends over at YouTube, and it could be. Now listen, let me just tell you, if you were a fly on the wall, I have zero say in what goes on around here. All right, I'm an indentured servant. So Wayne will go, Bri, calm down. We're going to be doing the post to Facebook. So chances are pretty good, even though I say this will be my absolute last time broadcasting to Facebook. Wayne, calmer heads will prevail. That's always Wayne. And we'll be back to Facebook. So,
well, plus you got to remember, Brian, I control at this end where I broadcast.
I know, right? So this is me sucking up to you, Wayne. Make sure. Listen, all I'm saying is, can't we please leave Facebook and just go to YouTube? Right. So we'll argue about it later. But yes, Wayne's. Speaking of the controls, I've only got 30 seconds left. Thank you all so very much. Thank you for joining us on Radio Brian or RadioBri.com. It's super great. The numbers continue to build up there, just hand over fist every day. So we're really excited to be your virtual hitchhiker. We're excited to be riding shotgun with you. We love that about what we do. So thank you very much. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend. And as I end every show, thanking Wayne for everything that he does to make us look, well, better than I am, that's for sure. So have a fantastic weekend. And as my good friend Bill, well, you know what? Why don't we just let Bill say it? Wayne, we are out.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.